Thank you, Macadritis, and welcome to our first presidential debate. I'm your host, Mechanitos, and I'm glad to be with you here today, the American people, as we continue to watch the 2014 campaign unfold. For those of you unfamiliar with the format of this debate, after I ask a question, each candidate will be allotted exactly 2 minutes to answer it. After all 4 candidates have responded, there will be 1 minute for rebuttals. And after all 6 questions have been answered, there will be a time for each candidate to have 1 minute for closing statements. Let me introduce our 2014 candidates. Zach Erickson from the Echo Party, Ty Rosa from the Foxtrot Party, Yakub Jarmula from the Juliet Party, and Kirtan Patel from the Foxtrot Party. Now let's begin our debate. Our first question for tonight's debate is a topic that many American people hold very dear to their hearts. Our right from our Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Mr. Erickson, I throw this first question out to you. Increased polarization among voters over gun control has resulted due to recent events like Sandy Hook. How will your administration balance personal liberty versus security?
Well, I'd like to start off by thanking you, Micah, for hosting this, and I hope it goes very well today. But let's go back to, you were talking about Sandy Hook and the Colorado movie theater shooting, stuff like that. Let's first note that one of the main correlations between all those events was people who had the guns had mental health issues. And I think it's not a question of gun control, but a question of instead of mental health. We need to get people that have mental health issues the best care and institutionalized capabilities that they have access to. And in recent decades, the government has reduced dramatically fundings for these types of programs. And we need to help these people because they're thrown into society basically to fend for themselves. And what we need to do is we need to get them in the right place so that they don't cause these kind of problems in society. Another thing is, I was reading somewhere that the average incarceration period for a first-degree murder is only 7 to 9 years. That means if you take a life, you spend an average of 7 to 9 years in prison for your crime. That is not okay. People need to know that if you're gonna do something like that, there are gonna be very high penalties for this. And it's not okay. And that is what we're gonna do in the Echo Party.
Thank you.
Liberty is the #1 principle that our country was founded on, and if we give that up, we become a military state. So it's important that people be allowed to have guns, but gun control is also very important, such as making sure regulations like applying for licenses is done carefully and making sure people, as Zach said, with mental health issues don't have the opportunity to have guns. And also regulations such as, in recent case, Omar Gonzalez, he was the man who attacked the White House. The Virginia State Police, months beforehand, arrested him and searched his car and took away from him 11 guns. If he had had those when he attacked the White House, it would have been a disaster, but instead he only had a knife. So our gun control right now and the way we're controlling it is working fairly well.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'll start it off with, again, I agree with Zach how the gun issue today is more of a mental health issue, and the Juliet Party does not believe in furthering restrictions on gun laws. I believe that the application could be a little bit denser in background checks, but only to specifically weed out any mental health issues and to help prevent individuals from achieving arms, or if they are to achieve them, to have the access to care that they need.
Okay, well, I'd like to start off by thanking Mega News and Ms. Randall for sponsoring this debate in Route 223. Gun control is an issue very deep in my heart. There's been a lot of gun control debates because of recent shootings. Like every year we have a shooting. That simply can't happen. We need to make our gun control very strict. In order to do that, we're going to have 3 basic things you need in order to get a gun. Thorough background checks, proof of American citizenship, and passing a gun safety test. We can't just give guns to any convicted felons or mentally unstable people. My fellow candidates over here, they turned this issue into a mental health issue. But really the question is about gun control, not about the people who get guns. In order to fix that, mentally unstable people shouldn't have guns.
All right, candidates. Now it's time for rebuttal.
Sure, Kirtan. I disagree with you on your stricter gun control plot or whatever you're trying to convey here. It's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people. And you're treating mental health patients like they're some sort of unequal. Everybody's equal in the United States. And I don't understand how implementing gun control laws, more of them, is going to help society. Because people who are illegals or are criminals or robbers, they're going to find ways around these laws anyway. So I don't understand how these stricter gun control things are going to help the American people.
I see it more as a punishment against people trying to lawfully acquire guns. And you're trying to give up liberty in the name of security, but really what you're doing is just expanding the federal government's control over people's right to get a gun. And you're not addressing the mental health issue, which is very prevalent in this case.
I don't agree. I agree that we should help the mental ill, but I don't think they should get guns. I don't think they should get guns.
That's what Zach and I just previously mentioned a minute ago.
What did you say?
But you're doing nothing to help them. Were we putting something in place to help them?
I'm not saying
You're
that-
saying that we're going to put stricter gun control laws in
I'm not
place.
saying that
You're
we
not
should
addressing
help
the bigger
mental
issue
ill.
for the people.
I'm just saying they can't get guns when they try to get guns. How do they get guns, first of all? How do the mental ill or felons get guns?
I don't know. How do they get guns?
They steal it. Either steal it or they use one of their friends and borrow their guns, basically. So if you had a stricter policy, you won't be able to like steal guns or find other
So you're
ways to
saying
get
that if
guns.
I know somebody that's mentally ill, I'm not going to be allowed to get a gun because
No,
somebody
no,
can steal
mental
it?
ill. No. If you know a guy who's mentally ill, we should make it stricter policy so they don't get a gun from you.
Well, that concludes our rebuttal time, and that also concludes our first question for the 2014 presidential debate. We'll be right back after a few words from our sponsors.
Thursday, October 23rd is going to be our general election. Come out to the polls and make sure you share your voice and support your candidate. Bring your voter registration cards and perform your civic duty.